I'm going to share some stats and figures with you from the London Mayor's office and what they're up to in this video. So stay tuned if you want to find out what my thoughts about his performance are, and it's all within the last year. Good evening, welcome to MV UK, Pete speaking, and what it is I've just run an analysis over the last sort of year on the performance of Sadiq Khan, the London Mayor, here in the UK, and what I found a bit alarming. So firstly, explain why he come onto my radar about a year ago. Obviously, I know he's been the mayor for 8 years, leading into his third and historic term as the London Mayor, and we're going to cover some of his performance in a little while. So, and this is in the last year. So let's have a look at it. So we had Sadiq Khan here. You can see there he is, London Mayor. And basically, Lee Anderson had made some flippant comments. Here's Lee here. He's based up in the Midlands of the UK, about an hour north of where I am, actually. So I understand how his constituents think. They are the common sense capital of the world. And anyway, he made a comment saying that the Islamists have taken control of London. Well, call the cops, because Lee did get a bit of a response. So we'll have a look at that now.
Well, these comments from a Senor Conservative are Islamophobic, are anti-Muslim and are racist. We've seen over the last 2 days confirmation that over the last few months there's been an increase in anti-Muslim cases by more than 330%. These comments pour fuel on the fire of anti-Muslim hatred. And I'm afraid the deafening silence from Rishi Sunak and from the cabinet is them condoning.
Okay, I think we've pretty much heard enough of that. So as you can see, he called him a racist, and Islamophobic. He called him all sorts of everything, really, which I don't think is warranted. Why didn't he just call up Lee and go, "What are you talking about, mate? You know, let's have a chat about it. Let's debate about it. You know, you've made some pretty strong accusations here. What's your agency in this? What do you mean by this?" So anyway, they had a public spat that caused Lee Anderson to then get suspended, and therefore he left the Conservative Party, went across the floor and joined Reform. Then in 2024 general election, as you all know, he won the vote for, he won his seat, sorry, I beg your pardon, and become the MP for his area. So I thought, okay, well, that's sort of, you know, he's had a spat, it's gone wrong, he's come back fighting, he's victorious. Good on you, Lee. He's done the right thing. So, well done, my friend. Now, that led me into thinking about Sadiq Khan a little bit more. He was very quick there to call the guy a racist. Now, I don't know about you, but where I'm from, if you're called a racist, that's pretty serious. You know, that's, people don't want to hang out with you. People wouldn't want to be associated to you. Definitely wouldn't want to employ you. It's strong. It's very strong language. And I think that nowadays people are using this, like this label, like a comma, you know, like every 10 minutes, because they don't like something. You must be a racist, or you must be an anti, or whatever, you know. So I thought, well, look, you know, let's see what his performance is like. If he can talk like this, he must be doing something right. So I had a look at and I got the statistic from Statista, which generates figures. You can go there. I've put the logo and I've put the breadcrumbs to the search in there, so you can follow this and get the same figures. There's nothing that you can't find for yourselves. Here are the crime statistics for London for the last year, which here, if you can't sort of make out what's happening in this graph, then I've marked it up a little bit to make it easier. There you see there, that circle says 105. Now, they always report on big numbers. So you notice it says per 1,000, there's 105 crimes. Now, if you just bring that down to a more bite-sized, digestible figure, it's 1 in 10. So for every 10 people you see in London, there's a crime to be committed, which is scary. You know, I mean, I always called London Sin City, but this really reinforces it. So, and this is quite a shocking graph as well. This shows the crime rate over the last, well, actually, since 2015 to 2016 is the year on the far left-hand side where the graph starts. And you see it builds up and up and up. Where the graph starts is actually where Mayor Khan took office. So as you see, crime just rocketed as soon as he got his foot in the door. I don't know what he was doing. Then COVID saved his bacon, because if you look at it, it drops off, where I definitely believe that it's a case of the police officers were all isolating, therefore not reporting crimes, and the crimes dropped off the face of the planet. But I actually think that that's probably a twice as much of a drop as it should be through lack of reporting at the time. Then you've got, it shoots up again, and it's actually higher now than it was before COVID. So no, I don't think the London Mayor is performing anywhere near the sound bites that he's delivering. I think it's an absolute false economy, totally. So I thought to myself, well, what's the issue? You know, what can we do? Where's the crime coming from? So I thought, is there any kind of demographic? I'll look into what Khan is publishing out there and just see what the concept of London is in terms of, you know, where to start research based on crime. Is it community led? Is it a type of crime? Is it more car theft and burglary than mobile phone theft, or more sinister harm crimes? I don't know. But looking at this, it says to me that London is diverse, London is multicultural, and that at the top there where it's just white, that's not London as Khan's office sees it today. So I thought, okay, right, well, all right, I can handle that. I've got opinions on it, but you know, if people are bringing something to the party, then I'm all up for seeing if it can benefit the greater good of the UK. So let's have a look at parties. So then there was the Notting Hill Carnival back in August. I think it's the bank holiday from memory. I don't go nowhere near the capital on bank holiday anymore. You'll see here Khan's office puts out there that this is a fantastic scenes at Notting Hill Carnival today, celebrating Caribbean communities. Carnival is a part of the fabric of our city and an amazing way to bring communities together. So I thought to myself, yeah, that's pretty good. So what actually happened at this massive celebration, and what we got was 320 arrests, 5 stabbings, an acid attack, 2 life-threatening conditions, which I don't think worked out that well, 35 police injured, 67 knife arrests, 12 sex assaults, 94 drug offences, 47 emergency workers. That's your police, ambulance and fire personnel. They're here to save us, protect us, keep us safe. They're being attacked. Who does that? I mean, who does that? Like, come on. Unbelievable. So no, I don't think that was a very safe place to be at all. So I thought, all right, well, I'm kind of in and out of the city politics, if you like. I go for more global, bigger news or massive stories or things that actually emotionally move me. That's what I'm looking for. So earlier in the week, I did see this exchange.
Exactly how much clearer do you want me to be?
Between Susan Hall and Sadiq Khan. So let's listen, and I'll pause it as we go along.
Every which way but not to answer it. Just how many grooming gangs have we got in London?
So the situation in London in relation to young people being groomed is different to the parts of the country. So what we have in London is young people being groomed, use your words, not mine, to be used in county lines in relation to sometimes...
Okay, let me make it clear.
Okay, so firstly, he tries to divert and park the question. In sales, this is parking the question. The client asks how much the product costs. You're not ready to sell it to the client, so you park it and say, one moment, if we just discuss that, I'll come back to the price in a moment. You've parked it and you've moved on to distract from the question actually at hand. So he's tried to palm this away from grooming gangs and onto county lines crime, which are two different things. Let's resume.
Sorry, I wasn't clear enough. I was told I shouldn't be saying rape gangs. They are rape gangs. I'm talking about rape gangs. I'm not talking about country lines. But to go back, nobody likes me saying rape gangs, although they are rape gangs. Grooming gangs that I would call rape gangs. Tell me about them. How many of those have we got? Not country lines, those particular groups.
Yeah, she's asking a very specific question. Now, if you're watching this video back, at the time of recording this, basically what's happened is Charlie Peters, GB News reporter, who I actually mistakenly got his name wrong on my opening video. I called him Charlie Roberts. I apologise. Correction. It's Charlie Peters. He exposed and blew a lid off of the absolute devastation and rot through the country in over 50 towns where this is happening. Over 50 towns. You can bet your left leg that it is happening in London. And Suzanne here wants to know how many there are. But what Sadiq is doing, Mr. Khan is doing, is he's avoiding the question. He's trying to get her to say a specific word, a specific origin of a nationality, rather. So let's resume.
To avoid any misunderstanding, can she define what she means by that?
Yes, if you look at what's gone on in Rotherham, where there are people taking young girls, grooming them for sex, that is what I'm talking about.
We know in London there are issues about exploitation of young people, but they're not as defined by the member in her definition of what those types of gangs are.
So are you saying we haven't got the same sort of gangs that are in Rotherham, Bradford and lots of other places in the country?
Just for you misunderstanding, what does she mean by that?
He's a self-confessed intelligent guy. You cannot have been anywhere in the UK and not known about what is happening in the last couple of weeks over this very sensitive, very awful. It's awful to think about what is about to be uncovered. Horrific. And this guy has got the audacity, the barefaced cheek to sit there and go, what are you talking about? You know full well what we're talking about. Let's resume.
Well, what I mean by that, it's all over the television. You know exactly what I mean by that. These gangs of people that are grooming young girls for sex. Do we actually have those in London?
Today we need to give a full answer. Can she be clear what she means by that? I'm not clear what she means.
How much clearer do you want me to be? Look at the gangs that they've uncovered in other parts of the country. Do we have those gangs in London? It's a simple question. The answer is very simple. It's yes or no. I'm not asking you where those gangs are because the police might not want them to be disclosed. I'm asking you, do we have those sort of gangs in London?
I'm not sure why she's so nervous to say what she means. What do you mean?
No. I'm saying exactly what I mean. I'm saying, have we got any of those grooming gangs in London?
I'm unclear, Chair, what is meant by the question. If she could spell it out, I can answer.
I've just spelt it out. Are you not listening? It's the sort of gangs that groom young girls at a young age for sex. Exactly how much clearer do you want me to be?
So we do have issues in London with young girls being groomed for county lines. Some of those girls are used for sex. And that's one of the reasons why I've set up things like...
Okay, I was going to stop it there, but I'm going to let it carry on just for balance.
The Lighthouse, funded by City Hall, while we've set up 4 hubs that help survivors of child sexual abuse, while we're investing in London's Violence and Exploitation Support Service, while I commissioned the HMI to look into the issue of child exploitation, while the Met Police Service now employs 1,200 child protection officers, while we have Operations Interior, first begun in London, while we're the only police force that began the V100, targeting the 100 most violent
I just
young
asked
people.
a yes-no question. So approximately how many of these gangs that I am talking about, that I do not know why you don't understand the sort of gangs I'm talking about, exactly, or approximately I should say, to give you leeway, approximately how many of those gangs have we got in London? Because the public is very, very rightfully concerned about this and concerned about these young women.
Well, I'm sort of on the wiser why she's so nervous about saying what she means. But in London, we have V100, which are the 100 most prolific, dangerous people the police target. That number.
He just goes round in circles. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen this already, he goes on, and he just won't say it. He's trying to get her to say Pakistani, and she will not say it, because he wants to goad her and call her a racist, like he did with Lee Anderson and like he did with Donald Trump and like he does with whoever else doesn't agree with him or he doesn't like. So let me take that down from the screen. So I thought to myself, do you know what? If he's not going to tell us the answer, I'm going to Google it. So here I am. I Google it, and you can see what I typed into Google. How many grooming gangs are there in London in 2024? And if you go down, you have to go down to about 6 layers of press because of all of this particular video I just showed you. That's dominating the news at the moment. So I had to go down 6 entries to find this one from gov.uk, which says in May 24, in the last 12 months, so this is 23 to 24, and that is year 7 to year 8 of Mr. Khan's mayorhood, whatever you call it. So he's definitely going to know, as it says here, that they busted in excess of 500 wrong-uns. He would have known that. He would have known that 500 men of this nature have been jailed and took off the streets of London. It's a big hit, 500. You know, didn't we just establish that 1 in 10 was the crime number for London? So that's a big number off. Anyway, so for a man to be intelligent and to, as he says, know what's going on his manor, he does not know what's going on. So that was disappointing. So no, bad form. You're messing around with people that have a genuine interest. And even only at this weekend, he puts in writing in a newspaper. I've borrowed this one from The Observer. Thank you very much. Full credit to them for writing a very good piece. But if you take a peek at the middle paragraph here, it says, progressives across the Western world face a century-defining challenge. The stakes of liberal democracy couldn't be higher. The hard right and far right are on the march, and these are deeply worrying times, especially if you're a member of a minority community. Okay, so keep that in your mind, because if we have a look at Khan's London again, that is there, a minority community would be those white guys, right? Because Khan said in his own literature that London is completely diverse, which is fine. So if we are, being deemed the far right, well, then that's worrying. And the other thing that to consider as well is this here. So it basically wants to censor social media. He wants to come after our ability to chat. Like this channel here would be napalmed in a heartbeat if he had his way with social media. So you got, all of the signs are there that he is absolutely crazy in regards to saying to us he doesn't understand what type of gangs there are. and when I feel that he was literally just baiting her. So when you know, it's very difficult sometimes to create, you know, an argument when you say that there is a lot of Islamophobia in London, where actually, if you take a look at London, just as recently as this weekend, this was a pro-Palestinian march which was happening in central London, and they actually broke through the police barricade, the police line, and 77 of them were arrested. Now, finally, someone's been arrested, because up until now, as one of these protesters, you had to work really hard to get arrested. I mean, really, really hard indeed to get arrested. You're running around with all sorts of monstrosity and you can't get arrested. Yet you walk down the street with an England shirt on, you are in cable ties and in the back of the wagon before your feet can touch the floor. Anyway, I digress. And on that note, I'm going to let it go. So just before I do, just to summarize, there were some stats. They were all from this year. I got all of those images in the video from one within the last year. If I went back 8 years, man, I don't think I could cope it. But anyway, as always, thanks for listening to my little summary of something that was causing me a little bit of itch to investigate and get to the bottom of. That was done in a very record quick amount of time. If I'd scratched the surface a bit further, I don't know what I'd have uncovered. So I will leave it there now. And thank you ever so much for watching. And if you like this, do like, subscribe, share, what you need to do to get the word out there. Take care from me, Pete at MVUK. See you on the next one.